you, Apple. That's my reaction.
What would Steve Jobs say?
The VR I've been waiting for since about 1985.
I just think the artists need to be protected.
Yeah, it's probably the first time I've not got a piece of tech on launch day that I really wanted to get.
I might need to replace my 1985 inner tube.
Hello, Gadget people, and welcome to the Gadget Show podcast. I'm Jason Bradbury.
And I'm Suzi Perry. And before we dive into today's tech, a quick thank you to our sponsor, CEX.
Yep, they are the heroes of buy, sell and recycle, giving old tech a second life. Whether you're upgrading your phone, hunting for a tablet for the kids, or after a quality laptop without paying silly money.
CEX has shelves stacked with pre-loved brilliant tech, and everything comes with a 5-year warranty, even Jason's beloved Super Nintendo, although I doubt that they take that Nokia N-Gage that you still keep in your drawer.
Never for my cold dead hands. If you fancy a browse, head over to webuy.com, that's webuy.com, or pop into one of nearly 400 CEX stores across the UK.
In this week's episode, more Apple announcements, a Samsung headset and an AI supercomputer from Nvidia.
Yeah, just your normal sort of day, innit, in 2025. But firstly, Suzi, where in the world are you this week? All right, and what's caught your attention in the world of tech?
Well, I'm in Melbourne. This is my hotel room. I'm now in Australia.
Amazing.
I'm heading to Malaysia tomorrow. And when I speak to you next, I think I'll be home finally, which will be great. Anyway, this is what's caught my attention. So do you remember last week we were talking about Tilly Norwood, the AI-generated actress who caused outrage because she placed real performers, and it sparked, a massive debate, didn't it? We put it on our socials and people hated it. I knew they would. Well, it turns out it's not just Hollywood that's worried about AI. Now, music is under threat too, which isn't a shock either. So this week, Spotify has announced a massive deal with the big record labels to bring AI into music, but responsibly, whatever that means.
Oh,
I know, but they're teaming up with Sony
Profitably
Music,
is what it means.
Universal Music Group and Warner Music Group, plus rights groups like Merlin and Believe, to build AI tools for music creation. But what they're doing is they're promising that these tools will put artists and songwriters first, that's a quote, and respect copyright. Probably because artists like Dua Lipa, Sir Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney, they've been calling AI companies out for nicking their songs without permission, quite rightly. Now, Spotify says artists, they will get a choice over whether their music is used in AI tools, but they'll also be compensated up front. Now, Spotify is keen to say that it doesn't actually make AI music itself, but it does use AI already for things like that AI DJ and custom playlists. I hate that DJ thing. Anyway, and yes, it hosts AI-generated music as well. And AI isn't new in music. Auto-tune, obviously mastering, production tools. We even used that on the Gadget Show once. Even the Beatles used AI on their song Now and Then to restore John Lennon's vocals brilliantly. So, it does have positive side to it as well. So maybe the question isn't whether AI belongs in music, but who controls it. Either way, after Tilly last week and now this, it feels a little bit like AI isn't just changing the creative industries, it's rebuilding them. The big question is whether artists get a say or whether they get sidelined in this, because they have to have control of this. They have to have a say, don't they?
They're trying to promise something that they can't deliver, Suze. I think the cat's out of the bag. I don't see how they can control the power that AI enables everyone to wield. For example, right now, if you ask me to, I could create a dance track properly formatted like a radio edit with a middle eight and all the rest, all the bits that make a track sort of, palatable to modern ears. A dance track, certainly. I could do it in 10 minutes. Like really, genuinely, actually 10 minutes.
But at the moment, there is... So obviously music's always been hard to please. Continuously you see that they're in court because it's plagiarism, and that I wrote that song, that sounds too much like this, that and the other. We've had headline songs over the years, and it is policed. Surely this is just another level of policing, and it is possible if they all come together and agree that the AI can't blatantly steal other music. And
okay, so I would, if you look at it a different way, right? Rather than them having the kind of keys to the industry, right? Like the Sony, the kind of, the Spotifys of this world, right? Look at it from a different perspective. Look at it from the perspective of the consumer, right? So it's someone watching a video on TikTok or YouTube, all right? Or it's someone, let's stick with that example. Then they don't care where the music comes from. This is what I'm trying to say. The consumer ultimately, rightly or wrongly in this equation, and I can see why morally it's problematic
well, it is
for the
wrong.
artist.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether it's wrong. I just think we're in a marketplace, whether we like it or not, whatever we feel politically, personally about the state of the world at the moment, and God, is it in a state, this evolution is inevitable. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not necessarily waving a flag in favour of it, or I'm not necessarily criticising it. I'm just saying that the technology is out of the box and it is running rampant. So I could do a video now and whack it on TikTok with music that I've created using an AI in not even 10 minutes.
I just think the artists need to be protected and need to be paid for their creations. I totally understand what you're saying. Let's see what happens. It's going to roll and roll. It's interesting. So let me now ask you the question.
Yeah.
What's taken your eye this week?
Well, what you just said has now got me off on a blooming tangent. I'm going to be thinking about this one. I think it's fascinating. And I have been thinking a lot about our AI actress. And I'll tell you why. Because... I'm facing a bit of a crossroads with my movie. So people listening, watching will know that I've been involved in a Kickstarter-funded kind of community movie, a low-budget but feature-length film. And some of the AI content that I think I've told you before on the podcast, I'm using a bit of AI-generated content in order for me to test out what works. It might be a drone shot over a northern British town as a transition between sequences that we've actually shot. Well, it turns out that now that footage is so good, I'm wondering whether I need to bother going up to the northern town with an actual drone.
Well,
and it's remarkable. So that's what I've been doing. I've been editing, and it just relates. It's just a nice kind of reaction to the really important point that you just made. But in other terms, I was disappointed in my efforts, Suzi, to get my hands on a Asus ROG Xbox Ally X.
Joy.
I had no joy. That's the black versus the white, more powerful version of those two, effectively sort of Xbox's first ever handheld console. And I couldn't get one. And I wasn't prepared to pay, I think it's £1,000 that they are asking for them on eBay. And that's even if you can get the bid. Be the first one to the last one to bid. So the retail price is $799, but they're going at the moment for over £1,000 on eBay, and I'm not prepared to do that. So I never got one. Yeah, it's probably the first time I've not got a piece of tech on launch day that I really wanted to get. To my knowledge, although listeners, viewers, do tell us in the comments if there's, because I'd really like to know. I don't think I'll be able to get one this side of Christmas now.
Moving on, I did see on your Instagram this week.
Yes,
you've been popping in for a service with your old friend.
What, my Sinclair C5?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, okay. It wasn't so much a service, Suze, as a puncture that needed fixing. And what I've done is I've done a little video on my Instagram where I took it to a local shop. There's a local shop here in Newquay. And it just happens to be the shop from my dreams. So it's a BMX bike shop. And it's full of like 80s and 90s kind of toys and old, old like Masters of the Universe characters and cassettes and boom boxes and of course bikes, loads of bikes and a rally burner with yellow Skyway Tough 2s. which is all in this little video. But I tell you what, the reason I got the Sinclair C5 out is because during my lockup tour, which is now on Patreon, so for those of you who are paid members of Patreon, you can now see my lockup tour, because I finally got the stuff up there. We've got 2 episodes up there. And the first thing you see when I open the door is my Sinclair C5. And because I filmed that, I grabbed it out, realised it had a puncture, and that led to me heading off down the shop and getting the how old is it? My 1985 inner tube replaced.
I might need to replace my 1985 inner tube. This seems like a perfect moment to discuss Patreon, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So, we've got extra episodes up on Patreon, bonus clips, behind the scenes stuff like the tour of my lockup that I just mentioned, and all the things that we can't quite squeeze into the main show. And yes, it's also the only place where you can watch and listen completely ad-free.
Yeah, so if you fancy supporting what we do and getting access to all of that, just head to patreon.com/The Gadget Show and you can join the gang there, and we would love to have you along. Time for a quick breather now, and a thank you to our sponsor, CEX.
Yes, if you love, and I know that you do, Suzi, tech bargains, you need to check out CEX. Phones, tablets, laptops, gaming carts from back in the day, drones, smartwatches, cameras, and a lot of Blu-rays and DVDs. It's all there and pre-loved, tested and guaranteed.
And every single thing comes with a 5-year warranty, which is wild when you think about it. Try getting that from an online marketplace seller.
Best bit, you can trade in your old gear for instant cash or credit. For example, an iPad 10th generation could get you £268 cash or up to 310 quid in-store credit.
Or if you're sitting on an old MacBook Pro, well, don't let it gather dust because it could pay for your next smartphone upgrade.
Go along to webuy.com or head into one of nearly 400 CX stores and see what your old tech is worth.
Right, Apple news. So you know how Apple normally love a bit of theatre when it comes to new products. You know, big press conference, dramatic lighting, maybe someone in a black jumper pacing around the stage talking about aluminium. But this time, nothing. Absolutely nothing. No keynote, no live stream. I know. Apple just quietly updated its website and slipped out some pretty major hardware news under the radar. Anyway, this is what they dropped. First up, new devices powered by Apple's latest M5 chip. That includes a refreshed 14-inch MacBook Pro, a new iPad Pro, and even an updated Vision Pro headset, all now running on Apple's most powerful chip yet. The M5 promises big gains in AI performance and battery efficiency, and Apple says it's designed to run AI tools locally on your device rather than relying on the cloud. That's fast becoming Apple's big hardware strategy, AI without the privacy headaches. Despite the upgraded internals, Apple hasn't bumped the prices. So the new MacBook Pro still starts at £1,599. The iPad Pro stays at £999. And the new Vision Pro remains at a wallet-melting £3,199.
Wow.
So, I know, it's still expensive kit, but hey, at least they didn't make it more expensive. But the MacBook does not come with a charger, an update that obviously hasn't gone without any criticism.
What?
And for the Vision... Yeah, I know, no charger.
What?
I know! And for the Vision Pro, it's the first update to the headset. And it's a modest one at that. As well as the M5 chip, the updated model now has improved battery life, a new dual knit band for comfort, and smoother visuals with a 120Hz refresh rate. Apple also pushed more spatial computing features and, surprise, surprise, more AI enhancements. What are your thoughts? I know you'll be a bit disappointed that the Vision Pro isn't cheaper or...
You, Apple. That's my reaction. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I can't bloody believe it. I'm over it now. I'm over them as a brand. I can't believe it.
Fair to say, a bit angry about it then.
How can you sell How can you sell a laptop that is unfunctional out of the box? So you take it home, you turn it on, let's assume it's got enough charge, although you'd be insane to try and start up a new product from Apple or anyone that then needs to connect to the web and possibly update itself and install drivers and stuff without it being plugged into the mains. And the reason I'm upset with Apple, clearly, really teed off, right, is because us, along with loads of other people, right, around the world that comment on technology, just keep getting...
It's
like well, you get shortchanged. We keep being the result of a kind of sleight of hand. I can't believe that they think that's acceptable.
So do you remember a while ago they stopped doing chargers with the phones and you just get the cable?
Yeah, but they were kind of, again, you know, if you think about it, that they were cheeky because they insisted on the lightning cable, didn't they? Until they were brought to the table kicking and screaming by the European market and they went to USB-C. And now it doesn't matter so much because they're on USB-C. So you can use any... I've got 30 USB-C 20-watt plugs from different devices hanging around the house. It's not an issue. It doesn't affect me as a consumer. I don't have to be in the Apple ecosystem to cope with the fact that you don't get a plug with your new iPhone.
I should say here that if you do buy a new 14-inch MacBook Pro, that it can hold charge with your phone charger. So USB-C can hold charge.
Really?
But
can it? 100%?
Yeah, it would. Well, yeah, it would hold. I don't think it would charge it because the voltage would be too low. What you would need to do is pick up a 70 volt or a 96 volt to charge it. And you want to charge it quick, don't you? When you need your MacBook, it needs to be charged. Effectively,
what they're doing is they're saying it can have this incredibly quick, fast charge. Using an extra product. So it's a bit like
so
saying...
you'd have to spend either £59 for the 70 volt or I think it's £79. Yeah, for the 96 volt. 79 quid extra.
Yeah, I just think it's a money grab. It just feels like a money grab to me.
Yep, well, you can see why people have been kicking off about that.
Good. We need to push back. We need to push back, you know.
What would Steve Jobs say?
I know. What would he say?
What are your thoughts in terms of the Vision Pro news?
Well, yeah, I think, again, it's very niche, isn't it? So it's not like a MacBook or an iPhone that's so fundamental to lots of people. It's very much a luxury product, isn't it? And, yeah, I guess, you know, like I said, I feel like a Vision Pro S would have been huge, like a really great, you know, high resolution, a more affordable headset for like, you know, 1,500 quid or something. That would be something to get excited about. Yeah, from a technical point of view, 120 hertz is going to be very comfortable on the eyes. Any upgrade is great if you're in the market for that sort of technology. Just a little upgrade and a little kind of, what do they call it? Like a kind of point release, as opposed to anything major.
Little massage. And
Suzi, it isn't just Apple who are kind of pushing this idea of local AI. In the last week, Nvidia's new DGX Spark, that's their supercomputer for running powerful AI models at home or in the office without needing the cloud, has started landing on reviewers' desks. So you probably remember it was announced recently. Early reactions have actually been quite promising. So it's not inexpensive, this home localized AI. £4,000, all right, but it's tiny. It's like a shoebox. You know, it's a supercomputer with AI functionality. So it's powered by Nvidia's new GB10 Grace Blackwell superchip, working together with 128 gigs of unified memory, which means it can run large language models, all right, so your own version of a Grok or a ChatGPT or whatever. No cloud required, no data center required, all right. Just, you know, possibly quite a lot of electricity. It's not really designed for, say, you know, gamers or general purpose PC users. But for those people maybe that are working in a kind of development context where AI can, you know, compute large data sets. So you're talking AI developers, researchers, you know, data scientists. But it's important because, well, we've been talking about in this podcast, haven't we, the IP, the intellectual property of musicians. I broadened it to artists. Well, it's also the same when you're working on a science, sort of data science project, isn't it? It can be important that you keep control of all of that data and that experimental work. And in that sense, this puts the power of a private AI into the hands of ordinary companies. So a small company could probably afford £4,000. It's not an extreme amount of money. Or even universities and startups, research labs, that sort of stuff, that want, a relatively high-end AI infrastructure with a compact footprint, but also in a walled garden, so they can do what they need to do without the prying eyes of the large AI data companies. I think it's really interesting. And it was made more exciting by the fact that Nvidia are clearly so confident in their new hardware that their CEO, Jensen Huang, I'm not sure if I've pronounced your name right, Jensen, so forgive me if I've butchered your surname, personally delivered it to Elon Musk, the DGX Spark, at the SpaceX Starbase facility in Texas. So that was quite a theatrical gesture.
Maybe it'll make up for Madonna turning him down.
Nice.
Right, a quick disclaimer on this one before we dive in, because at the time of recording this pod, we haven't actually got all the official details yet, because Samsung hasn't actually launched this thing. But by the time the episode goes out, the event will have happened. So, feel free to jump in the comments and tell us how much we got right and what we have spectacularly messed up. So here we go. Samsung is about to wade into mixed reality arena with its new headset. It's expected to be called the Samsung Galaxy XR. It's launching at Big Worlds Wide Open Galaxy event. And Samsung says it's been designed to scale across form factors, bringing AI to the centre of immersive everyday experiences. Which sounds, a bit marketing department speak, but what's new? Now, this is Samsung's first major XR headset since teaming up with Google and Qualcomm for Project Muhan. And conveniently, or suspiciously in a way, it arrives just a week after Apple announced the new Vision Pro M5. Is it coincidence? Now, if the leaks are accurate, this thing could be seriously impressive. It's rumoured to run on Qualcomm's Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 chip.
Yes.
4K micro LED displays with 4.3K resolution per eye. Just over 4,000 pixels per inch. That's 29 million pixels total, which, fun fact, actually beats the Apple Vision Pro on display resolution. I know, you're shocked. And you'll love this. It reportedly weighs 545 grams. So that's lighter than the Vision Pro, which goes up to 800 grams if you spec it up. Interaction-wise, no controllers needed. It's supposed to support eye tracking, hand gestures and voice commands, plus a built-in depth sensor for better spatial awareness. Battery life, I hear you cry, Mr. Bradbury. Well, the leaks say up to 2 hours or 2.5 hours for video, and Samsung may be copying Apple with a detachable external battery pack as well.
So it's got the XR2 Plus Gen 2 chipset, right, Qualcomm.
Yeah.
Which is the most, currently the most advanced XR, mixed reality chipset. It's got a comparable, if not better, display than the Vision Pro, although we'd have to try that out. The interesting thing for me was that you don't need controllers, although they are reported, it's all rumours, to be releasing 2 Galaxy XR controllers that give 6 degrees of freedom. So controllers a bit like what you get on the Quest 3 is what I imagine. And the mention of the UI, the visual experience, including Google Maps, says to me, and this is what I'm driving towards, this thing is going to give you access to the outside world. It's going to give you a proper augmented reality experience. That and the lightweight 500 grams, whatever it was, this feels like it's going to be the first headset really aimed at it could be rather the first headset aimed at walking outside and experiencing virtual assets in the real world, and that is really exciting.
You know what's really? I just want to know the price. Really,
What do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm going to jump in. Well, I could take the easy route and say between 1,500 and 1,800, which will slay potentially if it performs like the Vision Pro. It would slay the Vision Pro. They'd get right in under, right?
Which is clearly what the aim is.
Or I could just go 1,500, and then I'd be really putting my head on the block.
Well, do that.
Yeah, let's do it. 1,500. What they're going to need to do is to enable it to connect to some form of proper VR gaming catalogue, like, for example, which is not that likely given that Valve are also rumoured to be releasing their brand new mixed reality headset very, very soon. But potentially, if it could connect to Steam, that would be great. That would be amazing. Because the great thing about the Quest 3 and Quest 2 is just the gaming catalogue is so vast. And then, it's so open as a platform. This one would need to connect to something similar. And maybe they'll go down the Xbox Game Pass route. You never know. Although that's not a catalogue full of VR titles, so to be fair. So I'd want to be able to plug it into a PC and get access to something like Steam for it to be really attractive to me, other than just a novelty for walking down the street and experiencing the VR I've been waiting for since about 1985.
Well, you only got to wait another week. Now, next time we speak, we'll know.
That's incredible. What a great little future gazing piece that was. Thank you, Suzi.
That's a pleasure.
And that is us done for another episode. Huge shout out to CEX for keeping the Gadget Show podcast fired up and rolling.
Yeah, whether you fancy something shiny and new or whether you're hunting down a classic retro gem, CEX is basically gadget heaven. Before we dash, though, we've got some legends to thank. Our brilliant Patreon supporters, of course.
Yes, and I will just say that I'm now on the Patreon and I've been answering some of your comments. Yes, we'll continue to upload exclusive content just for you Patreon members. So massive gadget love going out to Dave Green, Ren Mandagorn, Dave McHugh, Matthew Riley, Dean Day, Chris Cool, Stephen Green, Tall Man with Glasses, Andrew Bamford and Duncan Bell.
And not forgetting Colin Jones, Gordon Packer, Richard Martin, Simon Ryland, Philip Eddington, Richard Wykes and Danny Rushton. You're all stars. Thank you so much.
Absolute legends. So if you fancy getting yourself a shout out, then just jump on Patreon. You'll get the bonus content, which is now freely flowing, behind the scenes chaos. I can think of one thing that happened that you won't have listened to a few moments ago that we're definitely going to put
Please
as
don't
a blooper.
put that on.
Yeah, on the Patreon. And of course, the sweet ad-free version of this here podcast.
Yeah, so head over to patreon.com/thegadgetshow. Nice and easy. Come and join the fun. And don't forget our Q&A special, the Inbox edition, will drop later on this week.
The Gadget Show podcast with Jason and Suzi was presented by Jason Bradbury and Suzi Perry off the telly. It was produced by Ewan Keel and Tom Clint and is a North One production.